Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Intrix and I'm back again with another Conqueror's Blade video. First and foremost, I would like to apologize for the lack of Conqueror's Blade content coming out. I know I said I have a few projects in the works. Unfortunately, I've kind of hit a bit of a creative roadblock and I just don't feel as much energized or creative at the moment. And with the lack of inspiration, I kind of just realized that I'm hitting a little bit of a burnout with the game. I have been playing it for about 2 years now, 7 seasons in. And some of my friends are kind of feeling the same way. So overall, I just feel like it's important to take a step back and not overdo it or even just try to force myself to do something. I feel like taking a break is important. Hopefully I can come out with some more content sooner than later. Without further ado, I would like to do an extension video, basically a small recap of the changes to the Palace Guards. I've already previously done a review on the Palace Guards and what I feel and think about them. Overall, I don't have a lot of bad things to say about them. The changes in Season 7 has been really well for the unit. It's put a breath of fresh air into something that this is basically where they should be, especially for a purple unit. When you have other Sword and Shield units of the same tier that perform a lot better, you need to go back to the drawing board and do some revisions. So I'm going to link that video down in the description below. And I would advise, if you haven't watched that video, to please watch it first and then take this video and use it in conjunction to move forward with your decisions based on trees. I'm still using the bottom tree. I still feel like this is the best route to go. However, the top one seems to be a lot more viable now with the recent changes. It's really a personal preference, but I still think that the bottom is the best way to go overall. So when it comes to PvE, not really a big deal. You know, these guys hold up quite well in the PvE elements. I haven't even bothered using the shield bash, but that is another thing, is how does this work with the top tree, because the top tree does get a shield bash. Well, with number 2, it's basically a skill activated shield bash, whereas the shield bash that the Palace Guard gets on their top tree is a passive one. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that when you do activate number 2, you do have the option to press number 2 again, and that will give them their shield bash, their skill activated shield bash. However, if you were to move the unit or use your number 1 charge, that will break the cooldown on that number 2 skill. You will not be able to use that for about 20 seconds. Keep that in mind. One of the other changes I like is their charge is now reduced to about 45 seconds. Still a little bit high in my opinion, but a lot more doable. With that extra 15 seconds shaved off, I think it really does help, because a minute was just way too long. So when it comes to testing against cavalry, since they appear to be more resistant against charging damage, I decided to go up against Keshegs. Also, shout out to Chalmy for helping me with this video and doing these tests. The Keshegs do have the boomerang effect where they can come back and charge the unit, so I was just curious to see how Palace Guards fare up. In the first charge, they kind of get a little bit slapped around. I don't really do anything against his Keshegs, but overall, not terrible. They sustain kind of okay. But at this point, what can I do? The only thing I can do is move out of the boomerang effect, but I can't really counteract his cavalry. So in the second battle, I decided to revise my tactics, and I think that this is the best way to go about it, which is to just watch your unit, not necessarily babysit it, but time your actions, time your skills. Doing this will be a huge game changer. And as you can see, what a difference right there. I got 1 Palace Guard down in the red bar, but I have lost absolutely none. Now, one thing to take into consideration here is you need to decide what is best for you and how you want to pop your skills. What I should have did in that instance when he rushed me is let them go through me and then rush behind me with my number 1 skill and basically charge into the back of his Keshegs. That would have been the golden opportunity to wipe them out then and there, also factoring in that they would get nothing but crit damage by doing so. When you're doing shield bash, I feel like it's probably better not to use it against cavalry. Once they get out of that position, they do lose that ability to have the extra defenses against charging. So you want to make sure that they're in that position, but it's probably better to pop it as soon as they charge or just before they charge, opposed to having them in that position already. That way you know for sure that you're not blowing this cooldown, because once you're out of that position, you gotta wait 20 seconds to pop it again. It's great in the passiveness of how defensive this skill can be, but it also needs to be played well and played in a timely manner in order for it to actually work out for you. I think it's a good breath of fresh air into this unit, and I think that overall it does bring more viability to the top line as well. I still feel like the bottom one is your cake in eating it too. It's literally the steak and potatoes for this unit. You get so much more defensiveness, you get so much more takiness out of them. I understand that they don't put out as much DPS, but at the end of the day, you're going to get more DPS when it's all said and done from a start to finish perspective, just because of how sustained these units can be. Having these extra skills is a real game changer. And also with the epic doctrines, again, a real game changer. Now I know that the charging doctrine that reduces charging speed by 20%, that probably would have been a good one when their cooldown was 1 minute for the charge. Even though it's 45 seconds now, it's still a really good doctrine to use. So how you build your style in doctrines is really going to be a personal preference as well. Are Palace Guards starting to become a more dominating, prominent unit in the game? Absolutely. They're not the fastest by any means, so make sure that when you put them in a position that they're going to be there for a while, because they are quite sluggish. But man, do they ever bring a punch to the battlefield now. And it's great to see that the developers booming in my.games, they're actually starting to breathe new life into units, even if they're units that have been around for a while. Palace Guards were quite slept on for the longest time, and I feel like where they're going now in the direction is quite fair, and honestly, it is good to see the Palace Guards be able to play this way, because it is a good unit, and now you can see that. So overall, that's all I really got to say. I mean, I had positive things to say anyway. Other than that, I'd just be repeating myself, but this is good information to know, and I'm not going to say that the Palace Guards are anti-cav, but they're definitely more cav resistant. As long as you play your cards right, everything is gravy. So with that being said, thank you for watching my videos. Hopefully I'll have more content out soon. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the battlefield, everyone.